So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. For this, which is a pre-recorded podcast, we will get this one out because busy time of the year. So apologies to everybody who's expecting us to read out your comments. I do apologize, but we will read them again afterwards. But we're going to move on from the Chelsea game at the weekend. The disappointment of the Chelsea game, and we've obviously got Brentford on the horizon this. Wait a minute, I'm trying to think what day it is. This Wednesday. Damn, I'm giving away this. This Wednesday, Paddy. Yes. Save me, Paddy. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Absolutely fine. Still a little bit tender after Sunday. Glad you said we're moving on from that because it broke me a little bit, I have to say. And yeah, as we saw, we look like we're going to be without the world's number one on Wednesday. But look, what can we do? Them's the breaks, literally the break. And yeah, it is a little bit worrying, but we are where we are, and it's now turned into a pivotal week in our season, because if I feel if we don't pick up 6 points, potentially 9 points, if you take Forest into that over the next 10 days or 12 days, whatever it is, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble, as in the only way we're getting European football is winning this bloody FA Cup. So anyway, we'll...
Just on that, Paddy, West Ham at home?
Yeah.
Fusing it.
I was expecting Man United, to be honest, but it didn't happen. I think we all expected that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's obviously not the worst draw we could have got. You know, when you look at what other big clubs got, they can potentially put out their second or third team and probably still get a result, but we'll still have to put out the best we have in order to get through. You know what? It'll be a tough to break down West Ham side, but yeah, happy enough with the draw. I'm sure our owners are happy enough to get another relatively full house in Villa Park as well to bring in a few quid. So yeah, it's I'm happy enough with it. We're bound to get the bigger boys along the way should we get past West Ham, but we'll worry about that when it comes to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But Brentford on the horizon at the weekend. Yeah, you mentioned there that, you know, that potentially a pivotal week within our season. We haven't lost a ton of ground on teams that are ahead of us, but what we have done is brought the pack towards us. That's really what's happened over the last 8 games, and that's not good because, you know, we perform better when we're, well, I was just about to say we perform better when we're front runners, but we chased down the pack in Unai Emery's first season, so that's not exactly true. But it's a test of character, I think, at the weekend. You know, Thomas Frank's really good manager. Brentford have some really brilliant players. You know, Brian Mbeumo is playing out of his skin at the moment. They just signed Danish midfielders and right backs that will come back and haunt us every single time we play them. You know, they just have that absolute brilliant scouting network for stuff like that. They're a very well managed team. They're a very well set up team as well. And Villa are going to need to bring their A game at the weekend. We're going to focus more, I suppose, on the Aston Villa team because, look, there's a lot of questions around it.
You're completely out of sync, Neil. You said at the weekend twice there. The match is on Wednesday.
The match is on Wednesday, yeah. So, okay, well, on Wednesday. But that's muscle memory for you. But, yeah, so, look, it's we're going to focus on Aston Villa, I think, more so, and we won't talk a whole pile about Brentford. We'll leave that to the team sheet tantrum. But look, there's obvious frailties that are beginning to open up within this Aston Villa team. There is, and look, I said it quite a lot about both on the Claret and Blue podcast and on our own podcast as well. We've dipped into the whole to I suppose a kind of everybody's looking around at each other, looking for somebody to do something phase. And that's not good. That's not good, because if it's a process-driven team, which Unai has, and this is why I take more of the blame off of Unai and put it more on the players, is that the players shouldn't be looking around after 2 years of Unai implementing the system. Excuse me. That leads me to believe that that we're still looking for that leader to stand up. Now, how do we kind of mitigate that, and how do we mitigate those mistakes against Brentford? We go out and we try and own the ball as best we can. A lot of the times that we've played this season, we've tried to do that, but what that does then in its own way, Paddy, is it makes us slow and cumbersome. We're passing the ball back, we're trying to own the ball, and then we go 1-0 down and we can't turn the gears. So my big kind of wish is that Villa don't concede in the first 10 minutes, because it's absolutely screwed our game plan the last 2 games, and it's unacceptable to do it 2 games in a row. So from that point of view, Paddy, what do you do to stop that? What kind of, do you make personnel changes, or do you make a setup change, or what do you do?
You also have to factor in the what has now become very serious, but was quite laughable at the time, was the Twitter content from Brentford. Sorry for turning up late, lads, and scoring after 4 minutes. This seems to be what we're used to, is teams scoring after 3 or 4 minutes, and they went through a big run of games scoring very early.
Like 5 games in a row or something.
Yeah, absolute madness. The best thing I will say is that they are shipping goals too. So while they've won games 4-3, 3-2, they had a 0-0 against Everton last week, and the only other 0-0 I think was against Colchester in the cup earlier in the season. So there's goals there for us. I don't envisage seeing an Aston Villa 0 in the scoreline after the game tomorrow. It's a strange one. I honestly don't know what he can do to freshen things up. Does he play a 3 at the back? Does he go with Mings and Torres in the team with Konza there? I personally think it's time. I think you remember yesterday, whether you got to see it or not. I know you were busy. Our friend Ronan put up a suggested team for Wednesday, and he had 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs, 1 sitting midfielder. But it's just a question of shoring it up now and making sure we come out of this unscathed and get a win. It is so bizarre that we just can't seem to get a bit of luck. And some people say you create your own luck. We have done some very stupid things, as we've seen at the weekend. So there's going to need to be a mentality check from everybody within the squad, and to really cop themselves on, and not do any of this stupid stuff like Martinez passing the ball out to strikers, or picking up a ball from Pau Torres. Pass back, let's put it in inverted commas, because we all know at the other end that was not going to be given as a pass back. But anyway, we've got to be cleverer, we've got to be cuter, and the most important thing is we need to get 3 points on the board. So we know we have a world-class manager. We know he has the capabilities of getting the best out of teams. But how do you get the best out of teams when their morale is on the floor? Now is time for him to start earning his salt. And now is time for him to show us what he's made of. We have given him so many passes, and he will still have a pass from me if we finish 15th in the league, although I'll be pissed off. He has given us the most unbelievable experience of qualifying for the Champions League and playing in the Champions League. So for me, he'll never it'll never be an issue, and he'll for always be part of what I want as manager of the club. And I love how he conducts himself. So now is the time. How do we go about changing things? Is it time to start playing John Duran instead of Watkins? Do we play Buendia instead of Bailey or Philogene? This is what he's got to decide over the next couple of days before he has to pick his team on Wednesday. And it's going to be very, very interesting.
So I'm going to just go on the piece that you mentioned there about playing 3 at the back. I've seen a lot of people mention this. I mentioned it. I mentioned if we're doing that, we have to bring Tyrone. If it's a 3 back for me, Mings has to play essentially. Mings comes into the centre there. I just don't think you get the same if you bring in a Diego Carlos there. We're trying to bring a talker into that back line. We know Mings. Look, all you have to do is go back, watch any game during COVID. All you could hear was Mings. All you could hear was Mings. And that communication, I've highlighted it in the Juventus game. I highlighted it in the game just gone as well. Communication was lacking, even when we weren't conceding goals because of it. You could see that it wasn't there, and right backs and left backs were getting forward and were ghosting in behind players, and that to me is symptomatic of communication issues. Then that would happen further in the game that aren't maybe as obvious. So if you are playing three at the back like that, other considerations you'd need to make if you're playing three at the back is you're probably dropping both Digne and Cash. Is in my view, because if you're playing three at the back, you're probably going to put Rodgers back out on the left. You're going to put Bailey on the right, and you're going to have Kamara dropping into the middle of a back four to make the back four, as opposed to having wing backs that would be breaking their guts going up and down the field. Because what you'd want to do with a back three is create the stability so that teams don't get a run on us. We still have three players at the back, and you have Mings there, who is relatively quick. Well, he is quick. He's not relatively quick. He is quick. Well, whether he is after his injury or not, we would see. It would then allow you to keep the attacking. So essentially what you'd be doing is defending with 4, attacking with 6. And it would give you that stability to be able to do that. Now, would you concede more in the middle of the field? No, because you're probably going to play a flat 5 in the middle, and then you're going to play 2 up top with that. It then gives you the opportunity to play Watkins and Duran up top. People might say that's too attacking, but Chelsea did it at the weekend. I think Aston Villa would be able to do it with Kamara dropping back in between the two centre halves, being that right-sided player. Either Mings or Torres goes out to be the left back, and then you've got Kamara, Mings or Torres, and Konsa. I think that's absolutely fine. I think I would have no qualms with that whatsoever. And when you're what I'm talking about is when you're trying to shuffle back to get back into a 4-4-2 to defend. It's probably the way to get the people into the team to create that little bit more of an attacking impetus while remaining kind of solid at the back. It also would give teams kind of pause for thought to go, right, they've got 2 up top now, so that means they can go long. And also they've got Rodgers outside and they've got Bailey outside, who could stay outside, as opposed to having to drift inside and create different diagonal running angles. Look, in theory it works. In theory it looks potent and it looks stable at the back. But there's no fucking way he's doing it. There is no way he's doing it on a 2-day turnaround. Not in a million bazillion years is he doing it in a 2-day turnaround. So we're going to go back to 4-4-1-1 or 4 or whatever tomorrow. And I think that's or Wednesday. I think that's really what's going to happen. So while we can hypothesize about this, and I've seen people, Paddy's, talk about push Torres up into the defensive midfielder position, utilize his range of passing. I'm not. I can see why people want to do it. I'm not for it, but I can see why people want to do it. But he isn't doing it. I think the only big change we see, Paddy, is it looks like Martinez is going to be out of the team as well. News earlier today to say that he's a broken finger, and that don't fill me with much confidence.
Well, it said he had a broken bone. It didn't say whether it was a finger or.
I think it was. I thought they said it was a finger. The original guy from Brazil or from South America said it was a broken finger. But anyway, regardless, if it's a broken finger, it's fine. Tape it up, play. If Robert Green is able to play with his finger literally pointing that direction, you're probably able to play with a broken finger.
And you know what? He strikes me as the kind of character that would play with a broken finger. And probably putting it on Instagram wasn't ideal and showing the world that there's something wrong, but it is what it is. If I think the injury was a result of his own mess up. I think it was the one where he passed it to Nicholas Jackson, where that injury actually occurred.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but from what I read, he didn't actually come off because of that injury.
No,
he came off
for
an abdominal injury.
Yeah, after he fell when he gathered the ball and fell, kind of heavy fall on his back or side. Yeah.
And if you see that there's a photo afterwards and he has the hand kind of on the hip or whatever, but look, we'll just have to wait and see. I presume we're going to get a press conference on Tuesday afternoon, and Unai Emery will probably give us an update of where he's at. But it doesn't look good. And all it does is dent the confidence a little bit more. So we're all hurting a little bit. I'm glad I didn't have to sit through an aftermatch with you on Sunday, because let's be honest, I was fairly depressed after watching that. I think most people are. And I think we've all probably just got to chill a little bit and just relax and let's see how it plays out. We're not in the position we were 2 years ago when Slippy G was there and we were worried about getting relegated again. That's not going to happen. We're probably just in a little bit of a reset at the moment, and we probably have to reinvent ourselves over the next few weeks in order to get points on the board. But as we always say, we've got to trust him to do it, because he's been absolutely magnificent since he came in, and I 100% trust him to make the changes or to get the players firing again. And that's very, very hard when you're stuck in a rut. And the only thing that's going to get them firing again is a result. And I don't care if that result tomorrow is 6-5. We have to get 3 points. It is vital to get 3 points on the board. Like, we're stuck in a rut here because the media love to tell us, oh, no win in 8. And, you know, what they don't tell you is we probably should have won last Wednesday against Juventus for that daylight robbery. You know, there's loads of things like that prevented us, and stupid things like that last minute header against Bournemouth. There was a load of things. But look, we are where we are now. And it's just, how does he get us out of this funk that we're in? And that is going to be a hard ask. But having said that, he's got Brentford, who are middle of the road team, firing away, scoring goals. A lot of goals.
Second worst team away from home in the league this year. And Paddy, guess who the worst team away from home in the league is this year?
We play them on Saturday, don't we? Southampton, yeah.
So, or maybe that might be reversed. But anyway,
whatever it is. So, like, I spoke to my friend Mark in Australia this morning, and we were talking about the next 7 fixtures. So obviously we've got the 2 that we just spoke about. Then we play Forest. Then we play Manchester City. Then we play Newcastle, who aren't exactly firing either. Then we play Brighton. Then we play Leicester. So you take Man City out of that, it's the best possible run of games we could probably ask for. Teams that we're capable of winning against. So just got to have a little bit of belief and a little bit of patience, and believe that you know, he's going to get us out of this. And we could very well look on the 4th of January at a completely different picture if all goes to plan over December. Obviously, we could still go and win that Man City game the way they're playing the last few weeks, but you know, they'll probably have stemmed the tide by the time we get there, as they usually do. Yeah. But look, anything is possible. But the one thing I don't envisage is we need 6 points on the board by Saturday evening when we play Southampton. That's I think that for everybody now is a must, just to lift the mood around the club, as in the fan base. The fan base are hurting a little bit. They're pissed off at the moment with the timing of the Celtic ticket sales. It didn't surprise me in the slightest, and you have to understand that this is a business decision. This is not me backing the club up by any means. I know the tickets are too far in advance being sold, but at the end of the day, if we go and beat Leipzig and beat Monaco, realistically, people aren't going to buy their Celtic tickets. So it's all a business decision. I'm not saying it's right, but football is a business now, and if we want to be competing at the top table again, we need money in the doors, in the door, and we need people at matches. So that's the full reason for that match being on sale now, as opposed to after Christmas, when everybody has sorted out all the bills and stuff.
And the long and short of it, Paddy, is, look, you know, any tickets that don't get sold to go on general sale, maybe there's a bigger away end for that game.
I'm not sure they can make it bigger, but anyway.
Can then that was going to be my next question, because if you could make the away end bigger, they'll travel from Scotland, you know.
Bloody you can be sure of it. And there's thousands upon thousands of tickets sold for events around the city, Celtic events on that day. So there will be a lot of them around with no tickets.
We've been invited, Paddy, you don't know this, but we've been invited to do 2 events, which I've promptly turned down because I'm going on the beer, and I'm not. We were thinking of doing our own event, but there has. And look, as I say, I'm with you, Paddy. I understand why it's been done. once again, there's a lot of people who are going to be pissed off about it, and they're more than entitled to, and more than happy to be. I don't have any skin in the game, as I always say with regards to this. I'm going to go to the Celtic game, ticket provided, if I can. But you know, I can, as I say, you know me, I stay out of the fight between fans about you know, you're not entitled to give out, you're entitled to give out, because look, it's hypocrisy. It's lip service from me. There's enough people who've skin in the game who can talk about their lived experience on it. You know, the way I've always been on that. And call a fence sitting if you're watching this all you want. I agree with both sides, and that's okay too. That is okay too, albeit I want everybody to be able to see Aston Villa games, so that'll probably tell you what side I'd come out on if I did have skin in the game. Everybody should be able to go and see a Champions League game that is able to go and see a league game as well. So that's my diplomatic stance in it. I think, Paddy, we could get really into the weeds on this one, but you know, we don't know how I pile about the team. We don't know how I pile about the about what Brentford are going to do, other than, you know, I suppose there's a bit of injury news on their side as well. So I think we might park the rest of this pre-recorded match preview, and we might come back and maybe have a more detailed team sheet tantrum, if that's okay, for everybody that's watching this. I think we're going to wrap up on it, because we could talk about this one forever. You know, we went into permutations of 3 at the back or 4 at the back. I just cannot see it happening. But it is a... What time is kickoff? Is it 7:45 kickoff or an 8 o'clock kickoff?
8:15.
8:15. Gives me what?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Excellent. I'll be able to put one of the kids to bed, and then I won't have war with she indoors. That's absolutely brilliant. Well done, Premier League. Well done, Premier League. Thinking of the team sheet tantrum. That's great stuff.
Does an 8:15 kickoff mean that we're on one of those Prime or something?
We're on Amazon Prime, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Our next there's 3 games this month on Amazon Prime. Leipzig is on Amazon Prime. Something else is on Amazon Prime, and the game on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is on Amazon Prime as well. Yeah, so
must be Blackburn that's on Amazon, or Blackburn. My brain is just fried there for a second.
I saw it. Yeah.
I'm after listing off the 6 fixtures that I thought we were going to win. And then I
think it's Forest. I think it might be Forest.
Forest is on a Saturday evening. Right, I'm not going
Brighton.
off until I get
Brighton. You were saying. You said Brighton.
Brighton.
Yeah, it might be Brighton.
Monday
I don't know.
Anyway, Brighton. Yeah.
Anyway, everyone will find that out in due course. Got to tie a bow up on this one. We've all got stuff to do today. So we'll see you again for a team sheet tantrum, 7 o'clock on Wednesday. And we'll be back with a post-match anyway. Stay safe, stay healthy, everyone. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
I can't end the stream again. Talk amongst yourselves.